Stephen had always found solace in music. The intricate melodies, the complex harmonies, the rhythmic pulse. They were a language he understood, a world he could control. His fingers danced across the ivory keys of his grand piano, coaxing out a mournful tune that mirrored the turmoil brewing within him. He was a celebrated concert pianist, his performances captivating audiences worldwide. But beneath the veneer of success and artistry, Stephen harbored a deep-seated vulnerability, a fierce loyalty to his family, particularly his younger brother, Marco. Marco was everything Stephen wasn't: impulsive, charismatic, and often reckless. While Stephen sought refuge in the structured world of music, Marco thrived in the chaotic energy of the streets. He was a small-time journalist, chasing down leads and exposing corruption with a fearless tenacity that both worried and impressed Stephen. Despite their contrasting personalities, the brothers shared an unbreakable bond, a silent understanding forged in the crucible of a difficult childhood. The news hit Stephen like a physical blow. Marco was dead, murdered. The police report was terse and impersonal, a stark contrast to the vibrant life it described. Found in a back alley, a single gunshot wound to the chest. The details were vague, the investigation ongoing, but Stephen knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that this was no random act of violence. Marco had been digging into something dangerous, and it had cost him his life. The grief was a suffocating weight, crushing Stephen's spirit and silencing his music. He wandered through his opulent apartment like a ghost, the familiar surroundings now alien and cold. The accolades and awards that lined the walls seemed meaningless, mocking his success in the face of such profound loss. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, haunted by the image of Marco's lifeless body. But amidst the despair, a flicker of resolve began to ignite within him. He wouldn't let Marco's death be in vain. He wouldn't let his brother's killer go unpunished. He would find out who was responsible, no matter the cost. Stephen knew he was ill-equipped for this task. He was a musician, not a detective. He was used to concert halls, not crime scenes. But he had something the police didn't: a brother's love, a burning desire for justice, and a network of contacts that stretched far beyond the world of classical music. He started by retracing Marco's last steps. He visited the newspaper where Marco had worked, a small, independent publication known for its muckraking journalism. He spoke to Marco's colleagues, piecing together the story he had been working on before his death. It was a story about corruption, about powerful figures involved in illegal activities, about a conspiracy that reached the highest echelons of society. The more Stephen learned, the more dangerous the situation became. He received anonymous threats. His apartment was ransacked, and he was constantly looking over his shoulder, aware that he was being watched, but he refused to be intimidated. He was driven by a force stronger than fear, a determination to avenge his brother's death and expose the truth, no matter the consequences. He delved into Marco's notes, deciphering his cryptic shorthand and following the trail of breadcrumbs he had left behind. He discovered a hidden file on Marco's computer, containing encrypted documents that hinted at the scope of the conspiracy. He needed help to unlock them, and he knew just the person to turn to. Felina was a childhood friend, a brilliant computer programmer who had always had a soft spot for Marco. She was hesitant at first, wary of getting involved in something so dangerous. But when Stephen explained the situation, his voice raw with grief and determination, she couldn't refuse. Together, they worked tirelessly, poring over the encrypted files, searching for a key that would unlock their secrets. Days turned into nights as they navigated the complex world of cybersecurity, dodging digital traps and evading the watchful eyes of their pursuers. Finally, after weeks of relentless effort, they cracked the code. The documents revealed a web of corruption that implicated prominent politicians, wealthy businessmen, and even members of the police force. Marco had uncovered a massive money laundering scheme, a network of offshore accounts, and a series of illegal deals that threatened to destabilize the entire country. Stephen knew that he couldn't go to the police. They were clearly compromised. He had to find another way to expose the truth, a way that would protect him and Alina from the powerful forces arrayed against them. He decided to use his music. He would compose a symphony, a musical expose, that would tell Marco's story and reveal the truth about his murder. He would weave the details of the conspiracy into the music, using dissonance and harmony to create a sonic tapestry of corruption and betrayal. He knew it was a risky move, a gamble that could cost him everything. But he was willing to take the chance. He had nothing left to lose. He secluded himself in his apartment, surrounded by his instruments and his brother's notes. He worked day and night, pouring his grief, his anger, and his determination into the music. The symphony grew, taking on a life of its own, a powerful testament to Marco's courage and Stephen's unwavering love. As the symphony neared completion, Stephen began to receive more direct threats. His apartment was firebombed, his car was vandalized, and he was constantly being followed. He knew that time was running out. He contacted a journalist he trusted, a respected investigative reporter named Sophia, and shared his findings with her. He gave her the encrypted documents, the names of the individuals involved in the conspiracy, and a copy of his symphony. He asked her to publish the story and release the music if anything happened to him. Sophia was stunned by the evidence. She knew that publishing it would be a dangerous move, but she couldn't ignore the truth. She promised Stephen that she would do everything in her power to bring Marco's killers to justice. The premiere of Stephen's symphony was a momentous occasion. The concert hall was packed with dignitaries, journalists, and music lovers from around the world. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Stephen took the stage, his face pale but resolute. He bowed to the audience and sat down at the piano. He began to play. The music was unlike anything anyone had ever heard before. It was a fusion of classical and modern styles, a complex and emotionally charged composition that told a story of betrayal, corruption, and redemption. The audience was captivated, mesmerized by the power of the music. As the symphony reached its climax, Stephen felt a surge of adrenaline. He knew that he was exposing himself to great danger, but he couldn't stop now. He had to finish what he had started. Suddenly, the lights went out. The concert hall plunged into darkness. Panic erupted in the audience. Stephen didn't flinch. He knew that this was it. They were coming for him. He continued to play, his fingers flying across the keys, the music echoing through the darkness. He could hear the sound of footsteps approaching, the rustling of clothes, the click of a gun. He closed his eyes and braced himself for the inevitable. But then, a single spotlight illuminated the stage. A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman dressed in black. She raised her hand and fired a shot into the air. The sound echoed through the concert hall, silencing the chaos. "Don't move," she shouted. "Everyone, stay where you are." The police swarmed into the concert hall, arresting the individuals involved in the conspiracy. Sophia, the journalist, had alerted the authorities, providing them with the evidence they needed to take down the corrupt officials. The lights came back on. The audience gasped in disbelief as they watched the arrests unfold. Stephen stopped playing. He looked at Alina, his eyes filled with gratitude. She had saved his life. In the aftermath of the concert, the truth about Marco's murder and the conspiracy he had uncovered was revealed to the world. The corrupt officials were brought to justice, and Marco was hailed as a hero. Stephen's symphony became a symbol of hope and resistance, a testament to the power of music to expose injustice and inspire change. He continued to perform, using his music to advocate for justice and human rights. He never forgot. Marco, his brother's memory, lived on in his heart, a constant reminder of the price of truth and the importance of fighting for what is right. And though the pain of loss remained, Stephen found solace in the knowledge that he had avenged his brother's death and brought his killers to justice. He had used his music to expose the darkness and bring light to the world. He had become a warrior for justice, a champion of the oppressed. All thanks to the love he had for his brother Marco. His music, once a sanctuary, had become a weapon, and he wielded it with unwavering courage and conviction. The world was now his concert hall, and he would continue to play his symphony of justice until his last breath.